In this week's brand new episode of Hill Climb Monsters in Project Cars 2, we're taking Old Yellow for a run as the Corvette C7.R takes on our brutal Azure Coast hill climb course. And with 500 brake horsepower to play with, can this soon to be retired legend pull off one last swan song? Let's go find out. What's going on, guys? My name is Martinio and welcome back to Project Cars 2 and a brand new episode of Hill Climb Monsters. And this week's challenger, as you've already seen, is the 2016 Corvette C7R. And the reason I've gone for this car this week is, well, it's two reasons. Firstly, we haven't done a GT car in a while, and it's a fantastic category, and one of the better ones at places like Le Mans and the WeatherTech Sports Car Championship. And the other reason is, of course, that this car is approaching retirement. It's believed to be, or soon to be, replaced by the Corvette C8R, and you know, it's had a really good run. It came in originally in 2014, and you know, it's won some fairly big things. It won its class in Le Mans in 2015. It won the WeatherTech Sports Car Championship in its category in 2016, I think it was. So yeah, it's had a pretty good run, a good 5 or so year run, and I'm gonna miss it a little bit because it sounds absolutely amazing. It's one of the better sounding GT Pro cars there. So yeah, that's the reason we're doing that car for this week. So let's start as we always do by taking a look at some of the stats. So, produced in 2016, it falls, of course, into the GTE category. It's rear-wheel drive. It's got a 6-speed sequential gearbox bolted to a glorious 5.5 litre naturally aspirated V8, which is producing 500 brake horsepower. The weight's coming in at 2,700 pounds. It will go from 0 to 60 in 3.2 seconds and all the way to 184 miles an hour, providing you've got a stretch road long enough. It does feature traction control, but there's no stability or ABS. The coring speed is 2, and the control difficulty is also 2 there. So, yeah. Fairly impressive all around, and it's had a pretty good run, I would say. It won the WeatherTech Sports Car Championship, I think I mentioned, in 2016. It won its class at Le Mans in 2015 as well. So yeah, I mean, it's had a good run, and considering 2019 will be its last season. It's about 5 years. I think it came in I think it was 2014 when they began testing. I think it went racing in 2015, so that was pretty good overall. And yeah, I mean, I'm going to be disappointed when it goes, because the next one is going to be the C8R. And from what I've been hearing, it's going to be rather than a front-mounted naturally aspirated V8, it's going to be a mid-mounted turbocharged V8. And there's some footage online. I tried to remember to put a link in the description of them testing it at Sebring, the new C8R, and it just doesn't have the same sort of sound to it. Don't get me wrong, it sounds pretty good, but not as good as just a naturally aspirated, rumbling, nasty as shit V8. I just love these things. I really do. The sound is amazing. So yeah, I'm going to be disappointed. I'm going to be sad to see it go, and it probably will be the final race. I think it's Le Petit Le Mans. It's the last race of the WeatherTech Sports Car Championship. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but that's probably the last time we're going to see it. And whether we see the C8R in time for the new World Endurance Championship season, I'm not sure. Maybe we see it for the first time at the 24 Hours of Daytona for 2020. Potentially, but yeah, either way, I'm going to be sad to see this thing go. In terms of setup and practice, I already had a basic setup on this car because I ran some time trials ages and ages ago with the Circuit of the Americas, and given the nature of the Circuit of the Americas being bumpy in certain sections and having quite a lot of undulation as well, it transferred very well over to the Azure Coast, so I sort of worked off of that one. I softened things up a little bit, especially at the rear, twiddled around with the roll bars and the spring stiffness, tyre pressures as well. That was the last thing I did really, because everything else was basically fine. It was just a little bit oversteery through the longer corners. Like, I could feel the weight transferring to the outside, so it would rotate fine through the mid corner, but it was a little bit reluctant to come back again once you got to the exit of the corner. So I tried to dial that out a little bit. I played around with, like I said, dampers, the downforce as well, the front and rear, because you could adjust it. I did trim a bit off the back, and I tried it with the it was 2 at the front and 6 at the back, but I tried it with 7 at the rear, and it just made it a bit too understeery as well. So it was a balancing act, and I don't think I got that balance exactly right, but I got it as close as I could possibly get it with my setup. know-how, I guess you could say. So yeah, but as you would imagine with a car that's a little bit squirmy at the rear end, there were a few accidents here and there. So this first one coming down to the slowest corner on the course, named after James May, Captain Slow Corner. We'll just get a little bit happy on the go pedal and get pitched around there. Rookie error. This next one, because this car is good, it coaxes you in to try things, and I just tried a little bit too hard there and we caught the bollards. So yeah, the magic roundabout claims another victim, I guess. And then this last one really does highlight the rear end being a bit squirmy. So we just about keep it pointing in the right direction through Captain Slow Corner. We get a little bit out of shape here, as you can see we're weaving around. And then as we come down the hill, I just get the slightest little lock at the rear, and it unsettles the rear of the car, and we get pitched around, and we end up going. Actually, I rolled backwards through the entirety of Silver Spoon Village, just waving at the rich people. Oh, I wasn't waving; I was giving them the finger. Look at me in my Corvette, you wankers. Yeah, because he's got the rear view camera as well, so just sitting there, just casually rolling backwards. I could have let it go on. I probably could have got right to the end of Outrun. But yeah, there we go. So like I said, there was a few accidents, a little bit squirmy, but overall it was a very good and very planted car to drive. So yeah, but looking at the leaderboard, so in this particular category, the best time is a 6:10.4, I think it is. I haven't got my glasses on, and if you follow me on Twitter or Facebook, you'll know that my big 34-inch ultra-wide monitor crapped out last week, so I'm on a tiny 25-inch monitor. I don't know what it is now, I can't remember, but yeah, so I can barely see anything at the minute. But yeah, the best time is a 6:10.4, I think, from ESSA Racing, otherwise known as Chris Jones, who's also got a time in 9th place as well with the McLaren GTR Longtail. Our best time at the moment is puts us 4th in the Penos Esperante GTR1, a 6:23 point. I don't know if that's a 5 or an 8, one of the two. So yeah, it was a 6:23 point something, and the best GTE time on the board currently is down on page number 3 in position number 30. It is the Ferrari GTE, for the 488 GTE, with a 6:47.0. Now, normally I'd say we need to go and beat that, but we've already done one GTE car, and that was the Ford GTLM, and we've already beaten that with that 6:36.151, which puts it in 14th place. So, considering that's also an American car maker and it's also a GTE car, that's what we're aiming for. We've got to aim for that. We've got to aim for that 6:36.151 to get close to it, or more realistically, I would say beat it, is what we're going to be doing, or what I'm hoping we're going to be doing anyway. So yeah, so that's what we're going to be aiming for. I don't think it's going to get to challenge anything else. It might, if I have a really good run, get around the Ferrari FXXK, but barring that, I don't think it's going to get close to the Ferrari F50 GT. It might go and beat the Falcon, but again, it's going to have to be a really good run to do that. So there we go. But yeah, so what we're going to do now, as always though, is we're going to head down to the track and we're going to see how the Corvette C7.R got on its best run. Okay then guys, here we go. Corvette C7.R on our Azure Coast hill climb course, and as we blast down to the first corner booty curve, we're going to get to 130 miles an hour, and nearest makes no difference. It's just absolutely planted through there. Lovely change of direction as we go through the center S's now. And yeah, like I said, this car was it was very good from the start. There wasn't a whole lot that I had to do with it setup wise. Sometimes braking could be a little bit tricky at times, but overall, like I said, it was really good. It was so pointy at the front and relatively planted at the rear, apart from through some of the longer corners, as I mentioned. But down the hill we go again towards the magic roundabout, everybody's favourite accident black spot. And the speed this thing is going to take over there, nearly 115 miles an hour. It just takes stride, and on we go again, up towards stickman squats now. And this was a bit of a tricky one. I maybe could have braked a little bit later for this one, a little bit harder, but again, it's just more, you can go flat out, but you run the risk of further, just completely tanking the run and ruining it. And we're doing well up to this point. This is one of our, this was one of my early runs actually. When I put this time down, I thought, okay, that's a really good start. Let's see if I can go do better. And honestly, I couldn't get close to it. So I don't know whether I was just completely in the zone for this one or what. But yeah, this time we're going to see here, it was our best run by far. Let's just say that. But barely any lift through traffic cone corner there, going through there at 160 miles an hour, a little bit over actually. But coming down towards Stonewall now, again, we have to be very gentle through here. Can get a little bit out of shape at the rear if you're not too careful. Keep it nice and close to that wall without clipping it. And down into third gear as we come over this crest, can unsettle the car a little bit. You saw maybe just a little bit there, and into second to get it through understeer. And down the hill we go, down towards Ice Cream Cove now. And again through here, it was a little bit tricky this bit, but this was probably the best I got it. You can take a bit of curb on the inside there, but it was a little bit tricky, and we almost tagged that road sign there on the right hand side as we come into there. But yeah, like I said, overall we're doing really, really good at this particular point in time. And again through here, coming down towards Captain Slow Call, a little bit of curb on the inside there, no real drama. And again through here, you can unsettle it if you're not too careful through there. You saw me, I'm just counted it ever so slightly. Really late braking for this one. Very gentle on the throttle, just so you get it through. You don't pitch it around like I did in earlier runs that you saw before we got to this. And then through here towards the end of sector number 1 and down the hill, no real drama. Again, and up towards probably the toughest area, I guess. So like I said, the braking through here is pretty difficult. Just getting the car to settle down, because you're going over those crests and you're unloading the tyres is pretty difficult in this thing. But we managed to get through okay and onto outrun. And up towards, well, we're heading down towards Fraggle Rock Corner. And I had a few accidents there, but you know, if I did all the accidents I did on my practice runs, probably the episode would probably be 40 minutes long. So there we go. Get down to fourth, get the nose in, a little bit of oversteer on the exit, but again, no real drama. We get back on the beans, and off we go again through this this long multiple apex right hand up down towards Bridge Corner. Again, we're going to get it down into second gear here. I potentially could have done it in third, but I don't know. It felt a little easier in second gear just to get the nose in, and also, I don't know, maybe third gear would probably have us coming in a little bit too fast, and we don't want to run wide and hit those bollards on the right hand side at the exit there. But on we go now to the Monga McRae Hill Complex, and over the crests and the bumps. This was very, very good, and yeah, I mean, I did play around ever so slightly with the because you can play around with the weight bias in this thing, and I did tweak it ever so slightly, just to sort of try and alleviate that rear end oversteer we get through some of the longer corners, and it did help ever so slightly, but I was reluctant to go any further because I think it was 49.5 at the front and 50.5 at the rear. So yeah, I was reluctant to go a little bit further because you know, I don't want it sort of pitching those down when we go over the jumps. And you can see here just how sweet it flies, absolutely brilliant through there. And through the first of the and the second of the Mirage corners, a little bit of grass on the inside to help us round and get back on the power again. Go nice and wide on exit, use all the racetrack, and off we go again onto the pogo stick straight. Again, big jump here. We again just no hint of it pitching upwards or pitching forward, just straight and true. Lands nice and flat on all four wheels, and off we go again. Up towards the back end of the course now, and again this corner was a little bit tricky, very easy to find yourself in the wall if you take it with a little bit too much speed, but we're okay. And over these bumps again, and down towards the tunnel and the Great Ocean Highway now. And yeah, this corner coming up is a bit of a tricky one in this car. It took a bit of curb though, and we managed to keep our foot in it just about. Again, it wasn't as nimble as some cars we've had through there, but it was still pretty good nonetheless. And into fourth gear, get it through there, use the camber on the inside just to pull the car around and keep on the gas, and off we go again through this next tunnel, coming down towards this this lovely, nearly flat out left-right complex. Again, just feathering the throttle ever so slightly, going through about 140 miles an hour onto the viaduct straight now. We're not going to get out of fifth gear, we're going to keep it there, and again, you've got to be a bit careful over there. It's very easy to unload those front wheels and just go straight on through there, but again, nice and wide through the exit. Took a little bit of curb on the inside on the entry. Again, through Deception now. Very good through there. Absolutely plenty. You'd have to turn it a little bit earlier than I normally would like to with this thing. But again, it was just very, very good. It was very pointy. That's what I say. Very pointy. Pretty planted at the rear. Again, it was a little bit there. We had a little bit of almost in the barriers action. But again, through here, pretty good. This was a tricky one as well. Just getting that change of direction, you see. But again, it was pretty good. Like I said, other runs I had trouble, but this one was all right. We did sort of graze the wall there, get the front left wheel in that little gully to help you through there, and down onto Rocky Road. And again, through here, don't quite get this one right. Maybe run a little bit too wide on the exit, but we managed to keep our foot in it. And again, through here, this can trip up certain cars with understeer, but like I said, this is very pointy. It's having none of it at all. And get it down to third gear, get that nose in nice and early, get back on the power again. It's quite wide on exit, but down towards the line and across it, the Corvette C7.R gets a time of 6 minutes, 34.359. So it's not only gone and beaten the Ford, but it's beaten it by 1.8 seconds, which isn't a huge amount of time around here, but that's really, really impressive. And considering my early runs, when I was practicing, I was getting sort of like 642s and 641s. To go a 634 is mind-blowing. It really is. And like I mentioned during the run, I tried, because this was one of my earliest runs, I tried to go a little bit faster, but I just couldn't find the groove again. It was feeling a little bit understeery or oversteery, and I just couldn't get the rhythm again. So yeah, this was a bit of a flash in the pan, I suppose. It was ultra focused for this run, and then once I'd beaten it, I really couldn't find any more. I think there was a little bit more time in it if I could sort that rear end out, because that was the big issue I had. But overall, like I said, really impressive car. Sounds amazing, and really quick as well, as you can see, because it goes into 14th, or it would go into 14th place on the full-blown time trial leaderboards. Had it have got a time, we know the reason it doesn't. If you set a time, anything that falls below that time doesn't get a place on the leaderboard, basically. So there we go. But yeah, so in terms of our Hill Climb Monsters leaderboard, it goes also into 14th there. So it pips the Ford GTLM. Like I said, even if I could figure the rear end out, I don't know if I could find 1.3 seconds and catch up with the Ferrari FXXK. Could be a fun thing to do, you know, if I've got free time to do. But yeah, overall, like I said, I think that was the best we were going to get out of it, or the best that I can get out of it. You guys may be able to go quicker. I don't know. If you can, let me know in the comments. But there we go. So yeah, really fun car, and a really good swan song for the Corvette C7.R to beat its American counterpart. But yeah, so that's pretty much the end of today's video, I'd say, guys. So thank you everybody so much for watching. Apologies, it's a little bit later than planned. As I said, I'm trying to get into an earlier upload schedule, and I'm failing miserably at the moment. But yeah, I do hope you enjoyed the video nonetheless. And if you did, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. And if you do subscribe, hit that bell notification button so you get updates for all of my new videos whenever they go live. Especially if you're a Dirt Rally fan, because tomorrow we've got the new DLC, and I'm going to be trying it out. I'm going to be doing something kind of fun there with a couple of Colin McRae's cars. So if you want to see that, go and subscribe now, because that'll be up hopefully bright and early tomorrow morning. But yeah, so like I said, that's the end of the video, guys. So thank you everybody so much for watching once more. Stay cool, and as always, I will catch you in the next video. Peace!